Welcome back. Well, let's check in on some of the other news, making news in the media sector this week. James, I want to talk about some changes, more changes that should be said in the news department at Network 10. Yeah,
they're getting rid of their late news bulletin every night around 10:30 to 11 o'clock. That used to go out, bracketed together with some Sports Tonight. Sports Tonight is going to be folded into their weeknight evening news, so there'll be no more dedicated Sports Tonight shows and nothing on One, which is where Sports Tonight used to run as well. Sandra Sully will stay at the network. She'll be seen reading the 5 p.m. News bulletin in Sydney only, so all those national fans that Sandra's built up over the years in the late news won't get to see her anymore.
Speaking of Sports Tonight, well, moving on from that, a little bit of upset amongst rugby fans on Nine's coverage of the Rugby World Cup. Some more cynical people suggesting that perhaps they only bought the rights so that they can, not have the rugby up against the rugby league, because of course it is rugby league final season.
Yeah, they've had to delay some of the coverage of some of the matches.
Including the Wallabies.
Yeah. Well, the Wallabies are going to have to lift their game if they're going to be seen much more.
Which is good, because no one wanted to see them lose anyway. But
yeah.
Now, changing of the guard, I suppose it could be said, Ian McRae from Win moving on.
Yeah, Win owns the Channel 9 franchises, if you like, both in Adelaide and Perth. Been under some massive ratings pressures, particularly this year, and it coincides with some really low numbers they've had there. But he's got out, he's bought a business, he's going to operate with his wife, and I'm sure he'll enjoy being away from the media spotlight.
Let's move on, have a look at what's been happening in radio. Rosso's been out of the mix, so to speak, for a little while, but moving back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. He signed with the Australian Radio Network. We had the CEO on here last week telling us a little bit about their mixed breakfast shows. Had some good ratings success this year, but they're losing Andrew Rochford to Network 10. He's going to co-host their breakfast. So Rosso will come in and co-host with Claire Hooper. He told us this week he's had a lot of offers to get back into commercial radio. Had some chats with Austereo.
How long has he been out for? Must be a couple of years.
2 years it'll be by the time he gets back in. He's been offered some big money, I think, to get back on air with Merrick. Neither of them really interested in that. They think that part of their life's over. So.
Also in radio, The Cage, that program going in favour of something quite similar, it seems.
Yeah. Marto's the only guy who's going to stay on at Triple M Brisbane. He also works for Fox Sports. Greg Martin, you see him on their Rugby World Cup coverage. But it was reported last night, Channel 9 News up there broke the news, Peter Timms is going to be joining him with a girl called Michelle Anderson, who used to be on Nova up in that market. Peter Timms, of course, been writing for TV Week, started in the media on Big Brother contestant. Yeah.
Back in the days when it was our #1 rated show from memory.
Absolutely.
Now, in print, we've got rumours swirling around about a potential rebrand of News Limited to what, News Australia?
News Australia, yeah. It's not a big deal because not a lot of consumers really care about what's the company behind it. It's the Daily Telegraph, the Australian, maybe the magazines or the websites, but just in the background, the News Australia. It's probably time for a bit of a refresh after some of the trauma that they've been through this year. So there's a bit of a pitch out to some agencies for that, I think.
It's obviously more of a corporate move. Does it have more to do with all the new assets with online? And I guess they're going to need some sort of umbrella brand at some point for the paywall.
Yeah, I think so. Just to freshen it up. Everybody does it every few years.
Yeah.
You dust off maybe a new logo that goes at the bottom of the presentations or something, but it's not a big deal.
There's a couple of new, in the magazine space, a couple of new players coming in, which is interesting because, most of the conversations that we've been having on here over the past year have been about magazines closing down.
Yeah, well, the mainstream magazines, the big titles have been losing sales, but it's the niche players that are doing better. Morrison Media is one of those companies, and we've talked before on the program about how successful their Frankie is aimed at younger women. The people who put Frankie together have got a magazine now called Smith Journal. First edition's come out. It's quite a high cover price, but it's very focused at a particular sort of young male market. Great reports back critically and from advertisers about the first issue. They've done a great job on it, so look out for that.
Interesting to see there's going to be obviously Grand Designs, the TV show, is hugely popular. There's going to be a magazine version of it, but at the same time as that's coming in, a quiet closure of the outdoor room.
Yeah, Jamie Jury's magazine has been a great year for Jamie in the media. The outdoor room was a deal they did with Pacific Magazine's part of the 7 network back when Jamie had a show on Channel 7. That didn't get renewed. The magazine's been doing okay business, but around about 50,000 copies, a little bit more. It was just a quarterly. But now that Jamie's been re-signed to 9, you can understand 7 and Pacific's reluctance to promote him too much. And of course, now he's part of the 9 family. 9 aren't going to promote his magazine that's owned by 7 either,
okay.
so had nowhere to go with it.
I want to have a chat about the ratings. I'll take you through them all in just a moment. But first of all, one of the standouts has been 2.5 Men. Sans Charlie Sheen, or I mean he was there but dead in a coffin, with Ashton Kutcher kind of taking over the lead role, and everyone was worried about whether this would work, and you know, Charlie Sheen himself obviously saying it wouldn't. Seems like he's proved himself wrong. Yeah,
absolutely. 2.3 million, the most watched episode ever of 2.5 Men, both here and in the US. Add in those regional figures, it just touches on 3 million viewers. So fantastic business. The job for 9 now, will, of course, will be to get them to all come back for successive nights. And I think a lot of them probably will.
Yeah. Okay, let's whip through the ratings. Week 38 in free-to-air, packed to the rafters in top spot, followed by 7 News Sunday and Sunday night. Underbelly, Razor in 4th. Wednesday night's X Factor auditions coming in 5th. X Factor Tuesday in 6th. 9 News Sunday in 7th. And Monday's X Factor auditions in 8th. Wild Boys 9th. Thursday night's X Factor auditions in the number 10 spot. If we move on to subscription TV ratings for week 38. Sport, first of all. Rugby World Cup dominating the ratings. Australia v Ireland match in the top spot, followed by the Wallabies v Italy. South Africa v Wales in 3rd. Sam Sosa's US Open win in 4th position. And in the rugby, South Africa v Fiji was 5th position. In the non-sport category, Australia's Next Top Model in the number 1 spot, followed by Project Runway Australia, which was on Arena in 2nd, The Simpsons in 3rd, Family Guy in 4th, and Futurama rounding out the top 5. And we've seen Rove hit the airwaves on Fox 8. How did that fare?
Monday night, so it did pretty well. About 160,000 for its first up effort. It was the 4th most watched program on the Foxtel platform on Monday night. 2nd most popular sort of non-sport program after Australia's Next Top Model.
Excellent. All right. That was a jam-packed episode of the show, and we'll come back and do it all again next week.
We will indeed.
See you then.
Thanks
James. From the team here, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much for your company.